Time is 5 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order for the Environmental Services Committee meeting for Thursday, February 6th, 2025. As a reminder, the meeting will be live streamed and recorded for public viewing on the town's YouTube page. Time is 5 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order for the Environmental Services Committee meeting for Thursday, February 6th, 2025. As a reminder, the meeting will be live streamed and recorded for public viewing. Like hearing yourself talk. Okay, or sorry, some technical issues. Yeah, at least we're live streaming though. I'll remind the committee if there's a declaration of pecuniary interest to declare it at that time. We have nothing under delegations, so I'll move to section 4. I have a motion moved by committee member DeVlute, seconded by committee member Rabel, that the minutes be adopted by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee, and that those confidential minutes of the closed session of the committee remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom, Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And that was the minutes from our committee meeting on December 5th, 2024. Is there any questions from the committee about those minutes? See nothing. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? That's carried. We have nothing under item 5. I'll move to item 6, accounts. I have a motion moved by committee member Rapel, seconded by committee member DeVlute, that the accounts as listed be received by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee. That is the water list as of November 2024, the sewer list as of November 2024. We have the environmental list as of November 2024, and then the water, sewer, and environmental list as of December 2024. So I'll open that up to, did you have any questions from the committee? I'll start on my left.
Well, just going down the list, I'm not going to get into a lot of detail on each one of them. Quite not a lot of money spent on repairs here. I mean, it has to be done. I'm not questioning that, but when I look at the price of some of this stuff, the extra expenses here in November, cat pipe, valve box assembly at $21,600, $1,000 for curb stop repairs, just valves, $1,700, on and on it goes. Like, I guess, like, you don't keep anything in stock. I guess that's all has to go to the supplier.
The chair, if I may. Town of Plympton-Wyoming actually keeps a good amount of parts in stock, and we just pull the best we can from that stock. But this winter's been a little bit different than the last couple winters we've had. A bit colder, lots more snow on the ground, so we're kind of seeing a little bit more of those water main break issues than we have in the past couple years. So.
I get it. It's just, boy, things are expensive. I guess I'm just a little out of touch on some of that stuff, but when you look at some of these parts and the costs, it certainly increases the cost of water and sewer, or water anyways. So, okay, that's all I have on November's anyway.
Anything for December?
No, I think I'm good there. Thank you.
Actually, I'm gonna shock everybody, but I don't see very much tonight that I want to question. I think it's well laid out.
I'll move to my right.
No questions or concerns.
I just had the question from the December. Were those water meters, is that the Neptune project carryover? There's the 3 from Sarnia plumbing for water meter installs. Is that the Neptune project?
Yeah. So that was part of the Neptune project for meters that they weren't able to install themselves, that they needed a licensed plumber.
Okay. So there's no further questions. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Move on to staff reports. I have a motion moved by committee member DeVlute, seconded by committee member Rapel, that the report submitted by Paul De Silva, Director of Public Works, dated January 28th, 2025, regarding the consolidated linear infrastructure environmental compliance approval mandatory requirements be received, and that the committee endorses the proposal from the Meisner Engineering in the amounts of $20,728 plus HST to support the town with preparation of the mandatory documents and meeting the reporting requirements. And I hope everyone remembers that motion, because I do not want to read it.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I just thought it would be beneficial for the committee for me to provide a little bit of insight into this report. Fully acknowledging that the report is a kind of wordy and basically a copy and paste out of the ECA requirements. So the way this process used to work in the past was anytime you wanted to add new infrastructure or replace existing infrastructure where there was going to be a change. So let's say you were going from a 200 mil to a 250 mil, you would have to apply to the Ministry of Environment for an environmental compliance approval. This was a process that generally took about 6 months to 12 months to complete in the past. So the ministry, in their infinite wisdom, decided that they wanted to make this a more efficient process. They essentially downloaded the review to the municipality. So the municipality has to sign off on all this stuff now after the engineer submits it and signs off on it. So now this can happen essentially right away. So we applied for this in probably late 2022, received our approval in 2023. And included in that approval, kind of took some municipalities by surprise, was a laundry list of requirements that we had to meet on certain deadlines. It shouldn't have come as a surprise because we went through this with water back, I don't know, 10 years or more ago, when DWQMS and everything went around, and then there was a list of requirements there. So this is a lot of work. We are proposing that we work with a consulting firm to help us out. They are not taking 100% of the burden. Staff and Jacobs will also be doing a lot of this work. And this is a multi-year thing. So this $20,000 can be absorbed within the respective operating budgets over the next number of years.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Silva. So with that, are there any questions from the committee? Starting on my right.
No questions.
To me, it looked like a good value proposal. We use the unit rates for the time that it would take to do it. Yeah.
Anything on my left? Yeah.
Just a question, this Miser Engineering, we've used them before, haven't we?
So through the chair, we have used the engineer that works for them before, but they are a brand new upstart company and currently working with the town of Petrolia on the exact same thing. So there was some value there in doing this with them.
Thank you.
Councilor Vet?
Well, the only question I would have on this here, I mean, it seems to be that we're using consultants more and more and more. I mean, even the statement that Paul just made, that all the municipalities, which there's 444 of them, have been stung with this. Wouldn't you think that they come up with one study and that's what everybody gets, that document? Why do we all have to have our own paperwork? You know what I mean? A lot of municipalities, now we're all spending $20,000 to do this documentation. You just, I don't know. Seems like a lot of money.
Yeah, through the chair, that's a good point. I guess the only caveat there would be everyone's infrastructure is unique. So we have to come up with operation and maintenance manuals, for example, like every single one of our pump stations, all of our stormwater ponds. And those aren't necessarily like for like across all municipalities. So there is a little bit of a nuance there in that everyone does things a little differently, but I do see your point as well. Yes.
That's all I think.
So there's no further questions. We have a motion on the table. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Move to item 7.2. I have a motion moved by Committee Member Rapel, seconded by Committee Member DeVlute, that the report prepared by Paul De Silva, Director of Public Works, dated January 28, 2025, regarding the annual contractual amendment to Article D.1.1 of the current operations, maintenance, and management services agreement with Jacobs be received, and that the proposed contract increase and base fee adjustment formula be endorsed and forwarded to council for final approval. Anything that staff want to add to this before we open up discussion?
Nothing to add. This is obviously based on our conversation that we had before. Jacobs went back and reviewed this carefully and decided that the appropriate thing to do at this time would be to stick with the contract.
So with that, I will open up for questions. I'll start on my left. Councilor Wilbett.
I would just make a comment that, yeah, this looks pretty good to me, more in line, my way of thinking in these budgets and increases. Appreciating the fact of increased wages and stuff like that, but yep, I can certainly live with this one.
No, I have nothing. I'm glad to see that this
Am I right?
questions.
Good to me. Thanks again to Jacob stuff. So with that, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. I'll move to item 7.3. I have a motion moved by Councilor Wolvette, seconded by Mayor Atkinson. That the report by Jessica Sobor. Executive Assistant Finance dated January 28th, 2025 regarding the 2025 Spring Garbage and Recycling Newsletter be endorsed by the Environmental Services Committee and forwarded to Council for consideration. As always, received that in advance. Are there any questions from the committee? Starting on my right. Seeing none, no. Call for the vote. All in favor? Carried. Nothing under bylaws, so I'll move to section 9. I have a motion moved by Councilor Wolvette, seconded by Mayor Atkinson, that the minutes from the laws meeting be received, and that is for October 31st, 2024, December 10th, 2020. Do you have any questions about those minutes? Left. Am I right? Seeing nothing, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? That's carried. Here's nothing under item 10. We'll move to item 11. I have a motion moved by Mayor Atkinson, seconded by Councilor Wolvette. That the correspondence related to recommended reading and routine approval and information items not otherwise addressed by resolution be noted as received by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee and filed accordingly. And that is the November and December monthly operating reports from Jacobs. Do you have any questions? 2 reports. Start on my right. Anything?
I saw that in both the reports, budget information was not available for those reports. I was just wondering if. What,
And so the chair, if I may, because we're rounding the end of the year, we're sure that we're getting all those finances in. So from our end, they just weren't fully available. But they will be, should be available here soon. So those will be added into the next report.
Nothing further. Right, thank you.
No, Rachel took my question.
Thanks.
No, I just was reading through it. Don't see any public complaints for either month, so that's a good thing. No real big alarms, filtration and that. Yeah, no, it's good reports. I think, I know we're still having problems with Negative Road there. Other than that, good report.
Yeah, so I guess that one in Oral Heritage is the same area that's been giving us a hard time. There's no further questions. I will call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. So that brings us to new business related to environmental services. I'll start with the committee. Anything on my left? Anything new business?
Any news or reports on the garbage, recycle, any of that new stuff coming down? You know, with the province taking over recycle and stuff like that, like what's happening in that world?
Through the chair, so as far as I'm aware, that is still scheduled to take place January 1st of 2026. We just recently today received a bunch of information from Circular Materials requesting us to complete some surveys for them. I think what they're trying to do is understand exactly what the town currently provides, because they have to equal that same level of service when it comes to recycling. So they want every single address that gets recycling service, and that's going to take us a little bit of work, which is fine. So at this time, no change to that January 1st date. That is also coinciding with when our Marcotte contract expires. So we'll be discussing potentially an extension or going to market on that contract as well for the next year.
So like Marcotte in the past, really not been interested in the recycling part of it. Garbage was certainly interested in. So any idea who take over? Now, we also talked about a transfer station, right?
Mhm.
Us having a transfer station. Any more of that talk, or even what how Marcotte would be involved in garbage or recycle?
So through the chair, no additional talk on a transfer station. The way it works right now is Marcotte collects garbage and recycling on behalf of the town. And then Circular Materials basically reimburses us the cost to recycle. That's the way it works right now. As of January 1st, they're going to do it, and we're not going to be involved in recycling collection at all. And we really don't know exactly how that's going to work yet, or if they're going to continue to contract, say, Marcotte, because they're already here. We don't know the answer to that yet.
They may deal directly with.
They intend to deal directly with the collection, yes.
Interesting.
So we won't play the middleman as we currently are doing right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Nothing.
New business? Nothing? Anything from staff?
Yes, just so the committee knows, we were not successful in receiving our Housing Enabled Water Systems Fund second intake, unfortunately. But staff are reviewing other grants, including the Housing Canada Fund, to see if we can make a solid application there for the Plympton Headworks project or all of the collection system upgrades that we're planning in the next few years.
Staff? So I'll move to the last motion. Moved by Mayor Atkinson, seconded by Councillor Wolvette, that the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee regular meeting be adjourned until the next regular meeting to be held March 6th, 2025 at 5 p.m. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you, everybody.